Hello, my name is Wanda, and for my leadership project, I decided to do a team building picnic with my coworkers. For my team building picnic, we decided to have 4 team members and have 25 employees, all invited to attend. All of us work at hospitals, so everybody it's staffed 24 hours a day, so not everybody is going to attend. This was planned for June 13th at a park near our hospital, and then we also plan to have some team building events along with some fun games such as cornhole. The purpose of this blood bank picnic was to increase morale and develop relationships outside of the work environment in order to increase collaboration and maintain motivation. The leadership traits I used during this project included being dependable, determined, friendly, and diligent. The one strength I used throughout this whole project was adaptability. There were many changes that had to be made from the beginning to the end that required me to adapt. I was very fortunate that I was able to make those necessary changes without causing too many major issues. I also used strengths in the areas of implementation and encouragement to guide my team members throughout the project. The leadership skills that I utilized in this project included administrative skills that included managing my team members and also managing resources. The resources for this project consisted of money, space, equipment, and even the time that my team members were going to put in. I also showed technical competence because I had planned several of these projects in the past and they all went pretty well, and utilized my technical knowledge of these events into account. In addition to these admin skills, I also utilized interpersonal skills. I had team members that were previously not on great terms with one another and was able to respond by making sure that those team members did not struggle with each other. For the leadership style, I started off utilizing the democratic style because I wanted this to be a event that everybody could have their input and we get a pretty good outcome. But as the project moved forward, it ended up being more beneficial to use more of an authoritarian style because I had to hold my team members accountable for some of the tasks, and some of them just were not meeting those deadlines. Moving on to the team climate and culture, providing structure ended up being a fundamental part of my group and creating that constructive climate. My team members listed below were tasked with clear assignments and responsibilities. They also had set due dates that they needed to have completed by. They're also visualized here. In addition, I also promoted standards of excellence by requiring results and reviewing those results. For example, I had one of my team members produce the flyer, and there were some grammatical errors, so it needed to be modified, so we went back and reviewed everything. I believe our entire team practiced diversity and inclusion. When creating this team, I asked whoever wanted to join could join. Nobody was left out, and everybody was given an equal chance to voice their opinions. Like from our textbook, enabling norms that give everybody in the group an equal chance to voice his or her opinion. So that was given. We could have probably increased diversity in group by age, gender, and other dimensions, but that was kind of hard to do when it was kind of volunteer to see who wanted to join this project. And then also we had a kind of a small group to pull from. Most of my coworkers are relatively the same age, with the same education, work style, and organizational role. One of the large conflict areas we had as a team was deciding on the location of the picnic. Since we were limited on funds, we had none. Our options were to rent out a facility that was unattainable, so we had to use a place that didn't require a reservation. We also debated heavily on the park location and the distance that everybody had to drive to get to it. The team member that was in charge of determining and finding the place wanted it close to her house, and somebody else wanted it close to theirs. So we ended up compromising and had a location that was close to our workplace. So nobody had a huge benefit. It was close to work and ended up being pretty good because we showed up. We were the first ones there. We didn't require a reservation, and the weather was pretty good, and we got all set up, and everything was good to go there. There were also some issues with team members not really mingling well with each other. Since we didn't really have many in-person meetings, a lot of the personality mismatches were avoided. But from this course, I learned to use a few strategies that would help mitigate any issues in the future. Some of those included finding mutual gains and focusing on interests and not positions. Another obstacle we have was very easily mitigated. At the last moment, one of my team members didn't want to participate anymore and dropped out. The task she was appointed was divided between myself and another team member that stepped up. I'm just glad it didn't cause any major delays to completing our picnic, and everything else went well. Overall, in the whole project, another obstacle was low motivation and low involvement. At the beginning, there wasn't much motivation because there wasn't an outcome they valued. In my situation, we had to change our team building picnic to be a little bit more family friendly, and it was thought that by having family attend, people could get more involved, and there'd be more of a it would work better, and end up having a lot more interest in the workplace, and people were saying they were excited to come. For this project, following moral rules is important to me, along with treating others fairly, and that represents my personal leadership style. However, happiness and what would benefit the most people overall is what our project really boils down to. For the picnic, I really needed to think about what would work for the whole group. Overall, I think I'm an ethical leader by showing respect and treating everyone fairly. And this also goes with promoting positive values as a leader. During this project, I was able to integrate my own with those of my team members, and it all worked pretty well, and we ended up having a great time at the picnic. For my leadership evaluation, all of my team members thought I did pretty well. They said I displayed a style that was effective for completing the project. I effectively delegated tasks so the event could come together seamlessly, and I seem to keep everybody on track. I do agree with my team's assessment of me, but one thing I probably could have done better was kept to my timelines a little bit more, and then also embraced and demonstrated more inclusion and diversity. I know it's hard to do, but I could probably try to improve on that aspect of it. Overall, what I learned from conducting my leadership project in this course is that there are many different facets of leadership. I'll take away some parts I will use in my future endeavors for sure. One that really struck me was the different approaches and the ways to manage conflict. I believe that dealing with conflict is one of the hardest parts of leadership. I know Nordhaus explained several different approaches, including separating people from the problem, focusing on interest, inventing options for mutual gain, and insisting on using objective criteria. I will definitely try to use more of these principles when I need to focus on managing conflicts within my team. But overall, I thought I learned a lot, and there's always room to grow in the future.